Hi everyone! Welcome to Live with Janome and the Continental Club. I'm Ann Hine and I'll be right with you in just a moment. Ooh. I'm not sure. I think I'm connected to something else. Hold on one second while I turn off. Oh, that's it. There we go. I think I had Bluetooth on the second device. That's not fun. All right, so I'm going to put the camera on now and say a proper hello. Let's get over here. There we are. Hi everyone. So welcome. It's Friday. Yay! I've been a busy girl this week doing a lot of lives, which I love doing my lives, so that's fun. Yesterday we had just a little kerfuffle. I had a pre-recorded one that went out a little bit late. I don't know what happened in the office. They were really busy. So thankfully they got it back on and I posted it around to a couple of places. So if you missed yesterday, go back to this page. You'll find it there or over on the Janome Artistic Digitizer page. It was called Artistic Digitizer Junior. I did a review of that for our CM17 owners. So today, let me see who's out there today. Today we're talking about apps, and I covered on Wednesday, I talked about AcuAssist, AcuSpark, and AcuSpark 2. And so AcuAssist is for our CM17, and it has things for both the sewing and embroidery side. It's like a little manual in your hand. You can actually be connected to your machine and send things right from the app to the machine, like stitches and designs that are built in and so forth. And then AcuSpark and AcuSpark 2 are for the M7 and the M8. The 9480 can also use AcuSpark 2. And those work with a QR code. You can open them up and open all the fields like I showed in the video. But you can also, there's a QR code when you're on a certain stitch. You can open the app and take a picture of the QR code and it'll tell you about that stitch. So there's a lot of information in those. And what I like is, even though it's machine specific, there's a lot of general information on different feet, different stitches. And that's what I did on Wednesday, or last week. Did I say something on stitches? And on different, what's that stitch for? So you have to check that out. One of my favorite things to do. So those three I'm not going to cover today because I did them. I kind of talked about them a lot the other day. I did them under what's that stitch for. I kind of covered those apps there. So you can check that out. That was my Wednesday. Yesterday was Artistic Digitizer, and today are the rest of the apps on the Continental Club. So what we have for apps for our CM17, we do have the Embroidery Link app. That is our designing app. We used to have AcuEdit. Now we have Embroidery Link. And within that, you can do lots of wonderful things: resizing, rescaling, combining designs, making new designs, shrinking, whatever, all that stuff, moving parts around, cutting parts, all kinds of things like that. And once you send to your machine, it becomes the monitor. So we have it all in one piece right now. And then we have AcuSetter, which we all love AcuSetter. And if you haven't played with AcuSetter, you should at least try it. I'm going to do a demo on that today as well. That's for perfect placement. And I hooped something up today, and it's for sure I'm always hooping something a little crooked. So AcuSetter will help you with that. AcuSketch, we're going to do a little bit of sketching so you can see how that works. The Screensaver app, even though that's a little like fluff and fun, and you can see my screensaver going back here, I do like that. I like to see those fun pictures of different things I did over the years, or my pictures of my kids and so forth. I love that part. And then I think that's all of them. And I'll touch on a little bit on AcuEdit and AcuMonitor just a bit in case we have any S9 or 15,000 owners in here. They can use those apps as well. All right, so in the comments, I do have my comments on. There we go. You can post what machine you have, and then as I go along, I'll try to take a look and see what's out there. And oh, we have some fun people out there. Hi, Donna, and Kimberly's there. So you can post what machines you have, and then I can try to let you know some specific information for those machines. All right, so let's cross our fingers that all the electronics are going to work today. I am going to go over to my iPad and let's see if it comes up. Oh, it's working. Look at that. Okay, so these are the apps that we have. And we have our, okay, there we go. Hi, Marty. All right. So these are the apps we have, and starting with those turquoise, those bluish green ones up there, that's AcuAssist, AcuSpark 2, and AcuSpark. And those are like little manuals. And I'm just going to open one of them for you to see the information. And then you can open up the different areas and learn about a stitch. Maybe they'll talk about it here, things like that. There's ways to switch between different functions at the bottom of it as well. And you can see at the very top, I'm connected to my machine, so I could send to my machine if I wanted to. So that's how the AcuAssist works. And I really think those three apps, AcuSpark and AcuSpark 2, are only covering the sewing side. Your embroidery side is going to be covered under AcuAssist. That has everything. And it's a free app. It costs nothing to put it on your phone or your iPad or your Android tablet or your Android phone. Our newer apps are now on Android and iOS, so you have that option to work with them there. Let me get my apps back to the right position. There we go. So what I want to do first is I'm going to talk about, well, let's go right into, well, let's show AcuSetter right away because that's the one that's going to take me a little bit of time. I have to do a little bit of magic here to show you some stuff. So let me switch back to here. So AcuSetter, what the AcuSetter app is, it's for positioning. So when you hoop something, and I did hoop something here, oops, this is well, it's actually a vest, and I hooped, you can see, let me put it in straight in here. You can see that pocket is crooked. If I could hold my hoop straight, there we go. That pocket is crooked. And I want my design on the top there above the pocket and looking very nice. Now I already did my design and it is on the screen of my machine behind me, and you won't be able to see it because of the lighting, but I can bring my iPad over there in just a second to show you that. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to open the AcuSketch, the AcuSetter app. You'll see it on the screen. I will be bringing the design from my machine into the AcuSetter app and manipulating the pieces. Now, this design that I created, I actually created it on the edit screen of my machine. So I brought the pieces in and then I moved them around to where I thought I wanted them. And then I said, okay, and now they're over here. So I want to show you something cool when you're editing on the screen of your machine. And then I'll show you a design, what the difference is when you have a design that you haven't created on your machine. You don't have to create on your machine. You could bring it in from somewhere else, but I want to show you what the difference is. So I'm going to put my camera on really quick here and see it stayed in the right position so you guys can see. And let me put the camera on this way as well. Here we go. So on the screen, you can see there's our design. All right, so kind of memorize the way that's looking. And then down here, this is going to be where I'm going to turn on AcuSetter and take a picture of my hoop. The important parts before I get started is you do need these little black marks to show all the way around your hoop. And I suggest when you first start playing with this, go ahead and hoop something in the RE20D or the little square hoop first, so you can play around with that. Because what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put my other camera back on. I have to flip back and forth to show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my iPad and I'm holding it over the design, and there's some things on the screen that will come up, and I'll take a picture of that as we go. So that's what I'm doing. I have a little TV table here that everything is on, and then I'm just going to hold my iPad over it, so you'll get to see everything. So let me go back to my iPad, and I'm going to open the AcuSetter app, and that is this one here. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I want to receive the design. Now I went ahead and I touched where it says sewing machine and model. So I chose my machine. And then I'm going to touch right here. That little bee, you can change, if you watch the tour, you can change that part of it. And now we have that little picture that shows up. That is something that's coming. So that will be something we will see later. So what you can do is you can do one of two things. You can try to get the bee in the center there, and then touch your camera button. You do want to watch out, like see how the arrow is right there? That's pointing to the top of my hoop. And I know that because when I look here, there is my connector on my left side. And I can see just a little bit right here, the L and the R. So I know this is up on my hoop. That's very important. And then I'm just going to hold it over there. I look at that little black line just slightly, and I can look at my bee. And when the bee gets in his little spot, there he goes, like he's taking a picture. There we go. I'm going to hit the camera. Hang on. I was never good at this, getting the little thing. There we go. Once you take a picture, you do, and I think I have to take it again because I'm too close at the top. So I am going to retake it and go back to this. Got to get my iPad to turn the right way. There we go. Let me try one more time. Get my little guy in the right spot. And it will tell you if you need to make a correction. I think that's pretty good. All right, so there we go. And then I'm going to touch these dots and bring them into their places right here. This is aligning my hoop to the picture of my hoop to what's going to be already in my iPad. So it'll match up to what's going to happen on the screen of my machine. All right, let me see if I can get these in place. And sometimes if you just tap them, they go into place, but some of mine don't always do that. So you slide them with your finger and they go into place. Once you have them in place, you can touch next. And then here you can see the design. So I can move this design up and down like this. So I can put it above the pocket. I can turn it a little bit sideways like this. Maybe it needs to go up a little bit more. I can bring it back and forth this way as well. But I have other tools I can use. And if I put it outside the hoop, it will tell me if it's outside the hoop. It won't let me finish with what's going on. So I'm going to touch next in the bottom right corner. And when I get here, if I just touch the screen, or the tool, I'm sorry, the little tool thing in the back, it will bring up this toolbox. And this toolbox, you can move it around and get it out of your way. I'm going to just put it at the bottom. And what this gives us are these tools where we can move the position of our piece, and we can rotate it right and left, and we can also resize in here. It's not recalculating, it's just resizing, which is fun. So since I made this in the edit screen of my machine, I can select separate pieces and move them around. And I did put this, I brought the bee in separately. So all of these are individual pieces that can be moved around. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my pencil down a little bit like this and put it generally over that pocket. Then I'm going to touch the school and put that right on here and rotate it so that it's going to be right on top of there. And I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And get it all set in there. And then here I can reset my letters. And let me see here. Bring that here. I think I like that. And I'm going to put the 2 there. And I'm trying to look at it to see how I have things aligned. If it looks like it's going to be straight above the pocket, I think so. If I wanted this to be right like this above my pocket and then move my school over, let's bring it over. Now, when I was building this, school was one of the last things I did. So I know it will be on top of the pencil. There we go. And I could see my pencil is still a little crooked. There we go. And then, well, school could be crooked on there. That looks kind of cool. And then I'm going to bring the 2 down, and then let's bring this B and rotate the B a little bit. There we go. And maybe rotate this. It's going to look like that above my little pocket. All right, what does everybody think? Little thumbs up. Let me see if we have any questions so far. Everything looks pretty good. All right. Oh, hi, Jill. I know you love these. Now I'm going to send it to my machine, and I'm going to turn the camera on right after I send it so you can see that it has been moved on the screen. So you know that's happened. So I'm going to hit send, and it will go to my machine. There it goes. And then I'm going to go back to the camera, and there it is. Isn't that cool? Now all I have to do is plug in my hoop, add my colors, and I'm all set to go. And you can see there are 8 colors in this. Let me turn on the color key. There we go. So you can see the order of the colors. So the very bottom, near the bottom is the red. That's the blue of the B, the letter B. And then some of the letters I think are that yellowy color. But the pencil itself is in the beginning. I brought that in first. All right. So that's what that looks like. That's AcuSetter. Now, what happens when you have a design that's just one, you bring it in and it looks like there's parts, but there aren't really. So I'm going to go to my file open down here. And I'm going to bring in this design here. Notice I can see my designs. If you haven't updated your machine, make sure you update your CM17 to 1.10. I'm going to touch this flower thing right here. And it's going to go right to the ready to sew screen. But let me take it into the edit. I could have opened it in edit. And when I touch it, you can see it's all one piece, even though it looks like it's parts. This was created in software, and it came over all grouped. So for me to use this one, I can do AcuSetter with this one as well. What I would do is go back to my AcuSetter, and let's see if I can, the AcuSetter, receive the design. And though I would not put it on here, we'll just get it to go in here really quick. It's going to be like a one-piece thing. It's actually a mug rug, so I really wouldn't stitch it here. But I wanted to show you designs that come from outside sources that aren't edited, that don't have pieces added to them in the edit screen, are considered grouped and one item. Let me go to next. There it is. So you can see it. I could move it up and down. Doesn't really have to be rotated because of that design. But if I go to the next box, this is where it's okay. I'm going to touch the tools, touch my design, and then I'm going to make it smaller. There it goes. I could make it a little smaller. It's still not going to fit in here. It's not really made for this, but I just wanted to show you how that works. All right. Does everybody understand that? Give me a little thumbs up. Okay. All right, so that is AcuSetter, and I really, really hope everyone goes. Let me put the camera on for just a second. I really hope you give this a try, because start with the smaller hoops, hoop something up. You could put a crosshair on there. You could put something with a pocket, 2 fabrics that you want to line something up with. Just play with holding your iPad above, getting the right alignment, transferring over, aligning the hoop, sending it back, and all of that, so you can see how it works. It really is brilliant. I just love this app for placement. I don't always hoop the best, and there are times I want something with above a pocket or close to a seam or somewhere else. Then this is really the app for me. I love it. All right, let's go on and look at some other apps and put my iPad back on. We'll close that. And thanks there. And I'm going to leave the camera there. All right, so the next one I want to go over is, let's look at the AcuSketch app. So when you open AcuSketch, it may open here or it may open in this position here. If not, let me just hit create. Touch the paper and put the pencil off on the right hand side. Okay, that will bring you over to the area where you can set it for inches or millimeters, right up here in this little box. And then in the center, you can actually input the size that you want to work with. Now that's sort of like the outer boundary of like a piece of paper that maybe you work better in a 5x5 square, so you could put 5x5 in there if you wanted, or you could come over here and pick a hoop. There are other machines in here, the 15, the S9, and the Continental M17. You do need to be connected to your machine when you pick your hoops, and then you could go ahead and pick a hoop. And I'm going to pick, maybe I'll pick this one here. And then I'll just hit create, and you notice the numbers changed in the little boxes. I'm going to hit create, and there's my hoop that I'll be working in. I can pinch it and stretch it, pinch it and stretch it. I can add from the right-hand side, I can add a grid to it if I want or not. Sometimes I like a grid, sometimes I don't. And then on the left-hand side, you have your pencil and your eraser. You have your connector. So this will connect lines that are close together when you come around. And then the camera feature, which I'm going to show. So really quickly, one thing you could do is if you would like to add a quilt design to your quilt of your signature, you can definitely come in here and using, oh, and let me go here first and show you what I'm using. There's the little thing. Here we go. I'm using this here. This is the Janome stylus. And at this end, it has a little sponge thing. I can use it on the screen of my machine as well. And under the other side, it has a drawing with a little bit of a, let me get it close. See, it has a little disc on there. That rests on the glass of your piece. Some people like this because it gives them a more of a pencil feel. Some people want to use the other end. I'm using this end right now. And so I'm just going to put this cap back on there. And it's called the Janome stylus. So if your dealer is going to order it, I think that's what the name is, Janome stylus. It's a very inventive name, I'll tell you. All right, let's go back to the app. So one of the things you could do is you could sign on here, and then you could quilt this into your quilt like that. And maybe I need to put a little, it will, some things it will not, if it's too small, it will not create your stitches. But I'm going to erase the heart that I tried to put there. And the eraser has two, a skinny and a fatter version. Or I could have used the undo, which is down here on the left-hand side. Now, if this is what I like, I do like it. I can go right to stitch. And when I come into stitch, I do have an option. There is a line stitch pack that I can purchase for $3.99, and it gives me these extra stitches, or it just has the single straight stitch. So if I want to do that, I have it there. Now, right now you just see my my stitch line. And then what you want to try to do is when you are working here, you can change your stitch length, and you can see if I had, the black is the stitch line, so you can see where the E is here. I'm going to zoom in and see if you guys can see that. Right where this E is, you see how it's flat? Because the stitches can't go up into that point. So if I played with my stitch length down here, I could maybe get some of those to fit better. That E works better. The ends are kind of off, but I don't know if I want to go too much smaller than a 2.0 or a 1.9, somewhere in that range. So it would look like this. And honestly, it doesn't really detract from it too much. It is a signature, and we know signatures are always a little strange. Right now, I could just take it and hit send, and I could send it to my machine. I'm not going to because I have something else I'm going to play with over there. So I want to not send it over, but I could just send it to my machine. You would click on sewing machine. If you were going to change your hoop, you could change it there. I'm going to close that. I could also do the paper with the arrow going out. And what that is this is the, if you wanted to export it somewhere. And you can see when it exports, I could email it to myself or someone. I could put it into AcuEdit. I could put it into Embroidery Link. And then whatever, well, I don't know what else I have. So I have those options in here. So when I make something, I can actually, if you don't have a Wi-Fi capable machine, you can send the design to yourself or to one of those other options and use it there. All right. So the other thing I can do with this, I'm going to go back to the drawing over here. The other thing I can do is I can save it in this folder. So you see on the right-hand side, there's Stitch, this is the create a new page and the folder. So if I wanted to save this, because I'm going to use it over and over and I want to save it in here, when I come into the save area, I can hit select. I'm going to select that one. And then because I don't want to, I'm going to select the lock. That holds it for me, and I'll show you what it does. I'm going to come out of here, and I'm going to get a new page like that, and we'll create that one there. Let me take this away. I'm going to go to my folder to recall it, and there it is with the lock. I'm going to select it, and it says duplicate and edit or do not edit. If I think it's perfect today, from when I first made it, I can go ahead and say, do not edit and just use it. But maybe I want to add something to it. So I want to duplicate it. It's going to keep the original here. It's going to duplicate it for me. And then I could come in here and maybe I wanted to add something else to this. Maybe down here, I did want to add a curly Q heart. And then I could send this to my machine or save it. All right, so that's how that works there. Now let's create a new page, and I want to show you how you use your camera. We'll use the same, and maybe we'll go up to a bigger hoop like that. So when you open your camera icon, you can take a picture of anything you like, or you can go into your photos, and I have some albums in here, and I'm going to go to the one that says Embroidery Inspiration, and I'm going to try this little guy here. This is my little capybara, and my oldest created this for me. I love capybaras, so he created this for me. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click done because this is what I like. I can move that picture in here so it's very large. I can recenter it before I leave. I think I could turn it if I want. I can use the tools on the side here to turn it, to make it smaller or bigger. I can use that pinch option in here as well. So it doesn't matter if it's outside the hoop because I only need the part that I'm going to draw on the inside here. And his little cloud goes out, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to hit done. And now it's on the drawing area. Now the fun starts. So this is where I'm going to draw the pieces of my capybara. And I could zoom in like this, and I could start with this one out here, and I'm going to go around like this, and then I'm going to go around like that, and then I'm going to create this one, and I might put a line or two in there. All right, that's a start. Now I'm going to come down here. I've got his body, and I'm going to start right here. And I'm just keeping my little sponge tip right on the edge. I just watched a thing with Bob Ross the other day. It was so interesting. I just wanted to start painting. All right, so I'm going to go up around this and I'm going to stop right there. Not too bad. Now I can add any detail that I want. I can come in here and make this little area. I can kind of make that little, it's hard to make this little thing in here because it's so tiny, so maybe I'll have to come back for that. I might be able to draw in the little ear. Now, I want to go back. I'm going to undo that ear and see if you can see what I'm talking about. The connector is on. So when I'm drawing this ear and coming around, my cursor is purple. When it gets close, it turns orange and green, and it'll connect up perfectly for me. Did everybody see that? So that's with the connector on. If I turn, I'm going to undo. If I turn the connector off and I do that, come around like this, I will have to make sure I connect it if I wanted it connected. And sometimes it's wobbly at that end, sometimes it's really nice. So you can go through and you can make his eye here and that inner part like that if you want. All these little details, if you want to put these little details in. Maybe I want to put the water in here like that. I could do the cloud, or maybe that's the steam. Now I don't have my connector on, so if I turn it on and I wanted to get this part to come closer to there, if I have my connector, it's green, I've connected, and now I can bring it over. This one over here, it's green, and I can put it over. If I didn't have my connector on and I was trying, let me undo that last one, and I was trying to connect there, sometimes, you don't get your cursor right on there, and it doesn't connect. See how it makes that? And it's going to be a stop and a start right there. So your connector is something you want to turn on and off. So let's go look at Stitch and see what this looks like. There he is. Ooh, this is like the best one I've done of my little capybara. Now he is a straight stitch design. Maybe I want him in stem stitch. Ooh, I like that. If I wanted different parts to be different stitches, I would have to draw him and save him and lock it. And then I would have to send him to my machine with the zigzag stitch and then not unhoop anything, erase him here, and then have his clouds and send those over. So you can send out things in different ways. So that's AcuSketch. So the artist in you anybody can do this. Kids love this. I'm not the best artist. This is like the best one I've done. So I'm going to have to go back here and I need to save him because this is like the best one I've done. You can see I have one in here that's not near as nice as this one. I'm going to select this guy here and I'm going to lock it. There we go. So you can have things, I have some different things saved in here that I've drawn and played with. And you can delete them out of here. You don't have to have them in there. All right, let's move on. I think I covered everything here. There are some settings in here. These are just the colors, and the drawn line, it's just the color of the line. It's not the stitch color. It always ends up sending to your machine. It's line stitching that you can put in. If you needed to fill in some areas, you could. Let's go back to, let's see. Let's open him back up. If I wanted to fill in areas, I would have to kind of do this little back and forth thing like that. And I could fill it in. And then I could go back over it again. But it's almost like thread painting. It's going to put a lot of stitches on top of themselves. But you could do fill areas like this if you wanted. Okay, there we go. I think I'm good with that one. All right, so next up, let's take a look at the Embroidery Link app. So Embroidery Link was made for our CM17, and it's a designing app. You can bring in designs from other places and work with them in here. You can play with your design, your machine designs, and so forth. You can have a default hoop. So I'm going to go into designs. These you can close. You don't have to have them come up every time, but I just leave them here so I can show you how they work. If you click on the 3 lines in the top left, let's go down here. There we go. I'm trying to get it to open. There we go. Open my designs. So I have a my designs tab, and these are folders I've put in it. Then I also have down here, it says Annie CM17. So let me close this one. I'm going to select this. And when I select that, I'm connected to my machine. I could look in a USB drive for something. I could go and put the built-in samples in here and work with them. What's on my ready to sew screen is right there if I want to pull it in right now and play with it. But I'm going to go into my built-in drive so you can see the things that were in there. There's that back to school thing. I could bring that in if I wanted to. And I could edit this design. And because I'm bringing it from the machine, it wants me to edit it. And there it is. So once it's here, if there's things, maybe I want to add more lettering to it, I can click on the lettering tab. These are all the built-in fonts that are in here. And you have lettering art. And maybe I want to use, let's see, I'm going to use this font here. And I'm going to type in the enter one, and I'm going to put fun times like that. And then I'm going to say done. And if I choose the lettering art, which it looks like an eye, it gives me the arc. So I can bring this in like this and arc that over my design. I could do other things in here as well. One of the cool things for this, if I go back to the little stitch finger down here, that's the select. Notice up here, this is called the, let me get it to, this is the, actually your sequence window, but they call it the clothesline. All right. And when you use the clothesline, when you move things, you could put things behind each other. You know, it's just like this, it's going to stitch like this. The white's going to stitch first, then this outline and this blue pieces and so forth. It's going to stitch in that order. So if you move something, I don't have anything overlapping, but if I moved this, let's move the B on top of there. And if I wanted it to stitch behind that, I could pull it off and stick it back up. And now it's stitching. These letters will stitch first and the B will stitch on top of them. So that's how you can rearrange things in here. I'm going to use undo to put that back and back again, I think. There we go. What I want to show you is something really cool. We've already explored the little finger here. This is the select tool, and off to the left there's different ways to select, and you can choose those. The next one up are these stitches, and in here you can see the stitches as they are forming. So you can go through here, there we go, like that. And as it's doing that, if you wanted to clip something, you could touch the scissor, and it added a piece at the top. I can see it, and I'm going to let it go a little further. There, and I'm going to clip it again. So now we have a couple different parts to our B. I'm going to go back to our finger, and then I'm going to select this top part of my B, which is part of that one, and I could come in here and change the color of it. I could change the color of this, so I'm going to select the part right here where it says density. I'm going to click there, and it will show me my color chart, and maybe I want, maybe I want this purple, or maybe this bright, there we go. And then I could leave it like that. Now I've color blocked my letters. Pretty cool. When I go to send, when I'm done with this and I'm ready to send it to my machine, when I go to save it, it will bring up the icon for that. But this little arrow at the top right, this will bring, I can go out and import a design from somewhere else and bring it in. That's the import on there. But I want to show you some of the other things. We showed you the letters. This little icon with the 4 squares, this is for the array tool. So if I had something that I wanted to copy on here multiple times, I could use the array tool. So maybe, well, I don't want to take that. Let me go back and select something. Go back here and see if we'll take that, and then we'll go here. No, it's not going to do it. So you actually put in how many to the right and how many down that you're going to do. I've done some quilting designs that way, where I've kind of filled the page up with that. These aren't going to be very good if I do them with these, but you can do it with those other things like that. This icon right here, I'm going to show you this next icon. This is where you can change your hoop. So maybe I want it in this hoop, or do I want to see if it'll fit in this hoop? No, it's not going to fit. So I can change my hoop at this point, go back to my stitch finger. The thing I want to show you is when you're in the hoop icon, there's another icon there that shows 4 corners. We'll come back to that. If you needed to rotate your hoop, you can always rotate your hoop. And then I moved my hoop to put it in line, or I can go back, put it back where it was. And then the last tool right here, this is it shows you it's stitching out. So you can see how it stitches. This is where the little cross moves, and this is the hoop moving, which normally that would be on your machine. The hoop would move, and your foot would stay in the same spot. The hoop is moving underneath the foot. It's kind of a cool, so this is like slow redraw. You would want to check this out before you go anywhere. When I'm done with this, I'm going to go back to my stitch finger. The other thing that's over here under the stitch finger is, let's see, which one is it? This third one over here. Oh, yes. Let me go back to the stitch finger. When you touch the stitch finger, you'll get this little arrows here. So these arrows are for your mirror image. So I could mirror image this or flip it. Or I could move the whole thing, since it's all selected at this point, by touching these arrows. Instead of using the arrows, instead of putting my cursor on there and moving it, I could use the arrows. I could also, when I select all of it, I get the corner arrows, so I could make everything bigger at once or smaller. I could skew. When I touch again, I could skew it if I want to do that. I could rotate it as well. So those are all those features under there. So once I get done, when I'm done with it, I can come over here and I could say save design. I could rename it here to something else. And I could put it, whoops, do that back again. And I'm going to save it in my Designs folder, or I could put it in any of these folders. Maybe I can put it in and stuff. There it goes. And I'm going to save, and it's saved in my and stuff folder. What I want to show you is where, once we get in here, I'm going to select this design, and it says edit. So I'm going to take the edit, and here it is. The tool I didn't show you, which I think is cool, under the hoops, is this icon right here. And you want to first choose your hoop. So I'm going to choose the SQ28D, and then I'm going to touch this, and it's going to enlarge it fit to hoop. So that's like fantastic. And then when I'm done, I can get ready to send this to my machine. I'm not going to save that one. I don't need to. I want to show you, let's go back, discard, sorry, where you would get the manual. That's not where I want. I want to go out here and help. It takes you, if you're connected to the internet, it takes you out to the Janome global page, and then you can scroll here. This is the user guide. Explains everything in here. Up here in the very top right, I can click that and email it to myself. I could make a copy. I could put it in my iBooks if I wanted. I have different places that I can send this. So I don't have to I can have it open somewhere else if I want to. You can print it out as well. Whoops. So there you go. All right. So I think, let me go back to Embroidery Link. I think we are all set on that. I'm going to close that. The last app I'm going to show is our Screensaver, and I'll touch a little bit on the AcuEdit. I think everybody pretty much knows that. When you're in Screensaver, this is where you can bring in your photos and put them in groupings of 6 or 5 in here, and then send them to your machine. So I can send these 5 designs over. I'm going to select those. and I can select how many seconds I'm going to use that, have it stay on the screen. And I would just, I'm connected wirelessly, so I would just click here and it would send it over. I'm going to put my camera on again and show you on the screen of the machine a couple things you can do to help you find these designs. You don't really see them in the machine until your machine goes to sleep. So let me put my camera on and I'll show you in the machine. You would go to your set mode down here. And then under your, oops, excuse me, I'm trying to hold this at the same time. There we go. You want to page through here. And here is your screensaver. You want to make sure you turned it on. And this is how long before those pictures show up. My machine will be on for 25 minutes and then it'll start flipping through. When you first send your pictures over, I suggest you make it go all the way back over here to like 0. So that and touch OK. That way, when you turn your when the machine goes to sleep, it'll go to sleep quicker. You'll see those designs right away. You don't see them until your machine falls asleep. You can put them on a USB stick and bring them over this way and come in here and import them into your machine that way. All right, and you can delete them this way as well. This here is your auto off time setting. I have mine set at 7 hours. My machine will stay on for 7 hours. And then if I haven't used it, from the last time I've used it for 7 hours, the last time until 7 hours, it'll stay on at the 7th hour. It will turn itself off, not just go to sleep. It actually clicks it off. So I like that. You can set it shorter so it doesn't stay on as long. But I'm usually in and out of here. I like to keep it on long. All right, so I think, let me go back because I had I want to show AcuEdit really quick for our 15 and our S9 people. Very similar. It doesn't have the, in Embroidery Link, it increases those stitches. It gives you more stitches, so it scales stitches. In here, if you select something and then you want to make it bigger, here, you're going to, there you go. It's not going to change the stitch count. It's just going to stretch it out, just like in your machine. This is just like in your machine. So you can come in here, and I don't have a machine to attach to. I have things in my documents. These are the designs I've saved into here. And then if I was attached to my sewing machine, I could go and look at the what's in my machine. So that's pretty handy. I don't think it will take me to my CM17, so I'm not gonna confuse things. When I'm ready, I would pick my target machine, and then I would hit send, and off it would go. I could use the arrow here and send or save. So it's pretty easy. Once you do that, you would turn on your monitor, and the design would show up in the monitor. In Embroidery Link, once I send my design over and I start to stitch, it will turn to its own monitor program. So I don't have to worry about that part of it. Let me see if I go into Embroidery Link right now and I bring in this. Let's see, it's there. Let me see if it'll go to, here it is. So this is the monitor program here. And if I moved my machine ahead to a color, and I don't know if you can see, I'm going to see if we can move ahead a little bit more. So you can see which things have gotten stitches. Some of it doesn't have, as it goes from color to color along the bottom, you'll see that. All right, so let me put the camera back on and see if there's any questions that I can answer, because of course, I'm long again today. Of course I am. Of course I am. There we go. All right, so let me move this way so I'm in the screen a little bit better. Let me double check our questions. All right. Oh, good. We have CM17s. So let me just go back up through the, so S9, I covered AcuEdit and the monitor. AcuSketch. You can use everything actually everything I've shown pretty much. On the 9450, that is sewing only. So you could look at the AcuAssist or AcuSpark or AcuSpark 2 on the sewing side. So it would give you feet and that kind of information. Let's see, what else do we have? Jill has the 15, of course, CM17, 550E and S9. Now remember what I said with the with AcuSketch, you can mail it to yourself. I believe sometimes in Embroidery Link you could save it to a cloud account and pick it up somewhere else as well. I don't save that way, so I don't know the whole process. For my 9,900 people, you could use AcuSketch as well. Just email the design to yourself and you could pick it up. Or if you have, we used to have AcuDesign. If you have that, you can send things to AcuDesign and then to your machine because that's an older machine. You can use AcuAssist as well. 15,000, 9450, 12,000. Same thing. You can use some of them, but you have to email them to yourself or put them in a cloud and then bring them back to your machine that way. All right, I think we're good. Now, Terry, that 1990, I'm not sure what that is. That might be a small, just sewing machine. But AcuAssist or AcuSpark 2 has feet information and stitch information. So that may help you as well. All right, let me go back to the bottom. Oh, Cheryl, late again. So Cheryl, what I did is I covered all the apps that we have. So what you can do is when I get done today, start at the beginning and watch again, and I'll send you a little test so you'll know for sure. Anyway, Cheryl's a friend. All right. Uh-oh. Freezing picture and sound at the end. I hope everybody was able. I did check my sound. Sometimes other computers or depending on your internet where you are, that's how things are. So it is actually Friday today. So the week is over for me. I'm done. And but you'll always find me over there on Facebook. I'm always hanging out over there. So thank you for joining me today in the studio. I really enjoyed having you here and showing you our apps. Make sure you check our other selections that we had this week. Celine was on, and I was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so that's me. And next week, I'm only here on Thursday, and we have other people during the week. You can go into the Janome sewing machine page you're on today, go under events, and you can sign up for the general events, and then they will send you you get a little reminder if you wanted to do that. Oh, that's okay. So, Cheryl, you're forgiven. You were watching yesterday. That's great. I know yesterday went a little late. It didn't go in until 5 o'clock. So something happened. I'm not sure. They were on a different time zone in the office, I think. Something was going on up there. Anyways, all right, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'll see you again next week. If you have questions, you can always post them below. I'll come back and check that and answer any that I can. Get out there, play with those apps. They're all free. Download them, have fun with them. And I'll see you all again at another time. Bye for now.